following message is a presentation of Valley Metro Church, a community of believers dedicated to knowing God and making Him known.
He's done this before, even in the Old Testament. You got Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fire, and they go, wait a second, there's a fourth one in there. Who is it? Looks like the Son of Man. Looks like the Son of God in there. Is that the Son of God in the fire? Yes. It's the Son of God in the fire. There's a profound thing. Jesus says, I'll never leave you or forsake you. And yet when we're going through these things, we don't expect. I used to believe. I used to have hope, but not anymore. Just like these guys. And we don't even recognize Jesus in the situation. Guys, it happens to us as well. Second point, expect to see Jesus in your situation. We need to expect to meet with God. He does, in fact, meet with His people today. And so Jesus in this situation is a little bit sad that they're not getting it. He's a little sad that they're saying, we used to believe, but we don't anymore. And so Jesus breaks his silence. It's a pretty profound scene. He breaks his silence, and it's not to praise them. It's not like, oh, cheer up, guys. It's me. I'm here all along. Cheer up, guys. It's okay. That's not the way he does it. These are disciples. They walked with him. They ate with him. They talked with him. They laughed with him. They saw the miraculous with him. They saw him raise the dead, heal the... They saw all this stuff, and now their faith is in a past tense. He's not really happy with it, so he has to do something to wake them up. And it says in verse 25, he said to them, how foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Did not the Christ, which means Messiah, have to suffer these things and then enter his glory? And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself. And as they approached the village to which they were going, Jesus acted as if he were going further, but they urged him strongly, stay with us, for it is nearly evening, the day is almost over, so he went to stay with them. So to break them out of their hopeless despair, instead of a kind word of encouragement or a pat on the back, for people who are supposed to be strong believers, mature believers, people with experience, he doesn't do that. He actually points them to the Word. He points them right back to the Word, and he starts to explain the Word to them and going, don't you guys know what the book says? You're supposed to be people of the book. You're supposed to be people of the Word. Did you forget what it says? And he points them back and he brings it to life. And that's our third point this morning. When you're in a place of hopelessness, how to shake it off, how to be victorious. The third point is look to the Word to revive your hope again. Look to the Word to revive your hope. If you're in a place of hopelessness or a place of despair, you spend time with the living God in His Word, not because you feel like it, because you may not feel like it, but He will speak to you through His Word, and your hope will get revived because His Word is full of hope, profound hope. And so do that. If God says it and we refuse to believe it, we can expect to be in a hopeless situation. It's not rocket science. If God says it and we don't believe it, we can expect to become hopeless like these guys did. So Jesus does this interesting thing. He actually rebukes them. This is a mild form of reproof or rebuke. Here's the R words. I don't know who made these up. Rebuke or reproof. Now, if somebody were to rebuke you, you'd probably be a little offended. Just the concept of getting rebuked. Who's rebuking me? What are they rebuking me for? Sounds bad, doesn't it? It's not bad. A rebuke in the right place is actually good. God disciplines those He loves. A rebuke is a good thing, guys. And if you love people enough, tell them the truth, right? I mean, that's not a bad thing, truth and love. But some people are not teachable. Some people are not open to that. Fourth point this morning is remain teachable in all situations. Remain teachable. I say that because when we're stuck and when we're in a place of despair, some people are pretty shut down. They're looking down, their arms are crossed, they're not really hearing it. You know how the little kids do? No, 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 no. Not hearing you? No, no. People do that. They just kind of get stuck. They're not even really open. They start to get so shut down that they're not even open to being taught or what God's trying to show them. Really important. Remain teachable in all situations. It moves on in verse 30, and it says, when he was at the table with them, he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to give it to them. Their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, were not our hearts burning within us while he walked with us on the road and opened scriptures to us? And then they got up and returned at once to Jerusalem. Okay, so Jesus is invited to stay with him, and Jesus quickly turns from guest to host. And there's something apparently very special about the way Jesus gives thanks, because it says that when he took the bread and broke it, which we're going to do in a little while here in communion, and he broke the bread and gave thanks, they went, wait a minute, we've seen that before. He did that at the Last Supper. He did that when he fed the 5,000. We know that. Something about the way Jesus gives thanks. You know, maybe it's that even though when you're in a situation that's not so great, that you actually can give thanks and really mean it. I mean, think about that. Most people won't. Most people in that situation don't have a lot to give thanks for. But Jesus is showing these guys, this is a moment we're giving thanks right now. And they sat and looked at this and they're like, something profound is happening right now. It's amazing that as soon as he gave thanks, they recognized him. And it says after giving thanks, their eyes were opened. It's a pretty cool snapshot. It's a Greek word called epiginosko is the Greek word. No test on it. But this is what the word means. It means to connect our present with what we once knew in our past. Listen to me. To connect our present right now with what we once knew in the past. That's what connected again. And that's important because when you lose hope and you're in a place of despair, you're not connecting what God did in the past. You're not connecting how the living God showed up before. You're not connecting how he took you from darkness to light, where he put his spirit in you. You're not connecting that he's answered prayers before, he's done the miraculous. You're not connecting any of that. You're stuck right here. But when this happens, when Jesus does this, when there's a real opening of eyes, there's a connecting with what we knew before and what we're hanging on to right now. It's really profound. That gets disconnected in people's lives. It literally means to fully comprehend. I get it now. I'm connecting that with this. I get it. Now I know where I'm going. And I'm not hopeless anymore. Does that make sense? Connecting it back together. Literally, that's what happened. And all of a sudden, with one jolt, these guys go from total despair to total hope again. Pretty profound snapshot. And it's Jesus helping them connect the dots in their own life that they failed to do. Can happen to any of us. And it says that after Jesus leaves, they say this. I love it. Weren't our hearts burning inside when he was talking to us? The point is this. When you lose hope, it's really not in your brain. It's not your intellect that you lose hope. It's in your heart that you lose hope. You get disheartened. You lose heart. And when you lose heart and you lose hope, everything else follows. And that's why the Bible says, above all else, guard your heart, because it's the outflow of life. God's saying, keep your heart in a pliable place. Don't let your heart get hard, disheartened, or just calloused, because if it does, there's a bad consequence. Keep, above all else, guard your heart. It's the outflow of life. It's the wellspring of life. And these guys, their journey began as a heart-breaking experience, and it ends up as a heart-burning experience. And I believe that's what God wants for you and I. That when we get in a place of hopelessness and despair, when we're having a heartbreaking experience, it's about to set you back. He wants to turn it around into a heart-burning experience that he can use for his glory. When he does that, what we went through becomes testimony, becomes part of our story. It can live on in a good way. But if not, people stay stuck in a heartbreaking experience. And the longer they stay there, the deeper they get. Last point this morning is exactly that. Jesus wants to change our heartbreaking experience into a heart-burning experience. These guys walking with Jesus, the word coming alive, were like, man, we will burn it. We were starting to get on fire again. We lost all our hope. We were kicking the dust. We didn't even look him in the face. We're walking down this dusty road to Emmaus, and as he started to talk, something started to burn on the inside again. I'll tell you what, when your heart starts to burn again, you can't stay in despair. When your heart starts to burn, you can't be hopeless, because by definition, he starts to light you up again on the inside. That's the place you want to be, guys. That's the place we need to be. I would suggest this, guys. You and I, we too were on a journey as pilgrims, just like these guys, going down the dusty road to Emmaus. And you and I also have trials that get us set back. We do. And you and I go through things to hinder us and set us back, maybe disillusionment or unmet expectation. But I would suggest, like them, these are trials for us to have an opportunity to discover, God, what do you want me to see? And instead of walking down with our head downcast, to be looking beyond going, I don't get it, and I don't know how long. But what do you want me to see? I want to see you in this, God. What do you want me to see? Stay tuned. Because when you're in that place, that's the pliable place to be. He's the potter, we're the clay, right? He's shaping, he's molding. This is the place you want to be because he's forming us, conforming us into his image. This is where the life is. This is where the fruit is.
This has been a presentation of Valley Metro Church. To hear more messages or to support future podcasts, please visit valleymetrochurch.com.